All right, it is time for the 2024 NASCAR season preview. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Racing Pulse. I'm your host, Tyler Eisley, and we are back once again with another video. Today, it is the 2024 NASCAR season preview video. Now, this is going to be more about just kind of getting you guys familiarized with who's where and what's going on and what happened over the offseason. I'm going to give you guys 5 predictions. In the Truck Series case, only 4 because there's not a lot of changes or confirmations right now. Like, there's no Rookie of the Year battle or anything. So it's going to be 5 predictions. I'm going to give you my playoff 16, 12, and 10 for each series. I'm going to give you my championship 4, my regular season champion, and my championship pick overall for the season. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's going to be a little longer, but it's going to be a fun video, I think. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. Remember, this all goes with you guys. Leave a comment down below who you guys think is going to win each championship. If you care to give any other bold predictions or anything, drop them in the comments. I may go through them before the Daytona 500 for a video idea. But with that said, let's go ahead and get started with the Truck Series. And we're going to start hot and heavy with the driver changes in the NASCAR Truck Series in 2024. I'm going to go ahead and start with Grant Enfinger. He's driving the number 9 this year. I'm not going to go too far into the teams. I will if it's necessary. But Jake Garcia takes over the 13 that Haley Deegan drove last year for ThorSport. I think that's going to be a really good addition. I think he's going to have a solid year. I'm not going to say great. I don't know too much beyond that, but I think he's going to have a solid year. Tyler Ankrum moves over to McAnally Hilgerman Racing in the 18. I think that's going to be a pretty solid group over there. I don't really know what it means for Tyler Ankrum, but I think it's going to be a solid addition to that team. Ty Dillon jumps in the 25 for Rackley Ward, replacing Matt DiBenedetto. Lawless Allen in the 33 for what I believe is Rayoon Motorsports. Lane Riggs in the 38 for Front Row. Matt Mills in the Nice 42. Daniel Dye in the 43 for McAnally Hilgeman. They're the ones that picked up the 43 in replacement of GMS. Thad Moffitt is in the 46. Remember, he's driving for Faction 46. This is a brand new team this year. Really kind of looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table. Spencer Boyd in the 76 for Freedom Racing Enterprises, a new team that has picked up some GMS equipment. I believe Boyd owns this team as well. And then Chase Purdy moves over to the Spire 77 for the year. Going off of that, I'm going to go ahead and just get into my playoff picks real quick. And it's going to be Nick Sanchez, Corey Heim, Tanner Gray, Christian Eckes, Lane Riggs, Stuart Friesen, Matt Crafton, Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, and Bailey Curry is going to be my last one. I think he's going to be the surprise of the playoffs and really of the season. People don't know enough about Bailey Curry. They haven't seen enough of Bailey Curry to say one way or the other about him, but I think Bailey Curry's a great driver. He's been extremely competitive in a lot of the races he's run for Nice. I think he's going to take over and be the number 1 guy for them this year. And I think it's going to lead to a playoff run. And as a matter of fact, I think he gets through the first round. I think he gets knocked out in the round of 8 before the championship 4. So that's where my mindset is on Bailey Curry. I think he's a huge sleeper. And if he gets it going and actually ramps it up in the playoffs, he's a threat, a true threat. Seriously, watch out for Bailey Curry. As for the championship 4, though, I got Corey Heim, Tanner Gray, Christian Eckes, and Ty Majeski. Christian Eckes, the way that they closed out the year last year was phenomenal. They had some of their best runs late in the regular season into the playoffs. It didn't really come to fruition for them. I think this is the year for that MHR team. Ty Majeski was great all year last year. Tanner Gray is just a guy that I think is going to really take it up a notch this year. I think he's got the talent. I think he's got the ability. Now it's just a matter of getting it done. And then Corey Heim, I think we all really have a lot of high expectations for Corey Heim. So that's why he's going to be in here. My regular season champion is going to be Ty Majeski, and my championship pick is Corey Heim. Overall, I don't know how surprising that is to anybody, but I'm excited for the Truck Series. I think it's gonna have. I think it's gonna be fun. I would like to see these guys not feel like they have to do too much. A lot of times that's where we see a lot of these wrecks and wreck fest races because guys are trying to do too much at once. Once that happens, I think the series becomes really good. That and if they can ever, which I don't think they can really, bold but honest opinion, I don't know that they can ever get away from the aero dependency in racing in the trucks specifically because of the speeds that they go or the Cup Series. I just don't know if they can without a complete overhaul of the race cars. Just a personal opinion. But anyways, getting into my 5 predictions. Now remember, these are kind of bold, kind of just regular predictions. Let's go ahead and get into them. Number 1 is going to be Christian Eckes having a career year with McAnally Hogerman Racing. I think that this is the year where that 19 team just takes off and soars. They are the number 1 truck, in my opinion. I don't see any reason why things would be fully 50-50 split. I think there is a truck that they know has a driver who is championship capable. And I think there's a truck that has a driver who has bounced around a little bit. Nothing against Tyler Ankrum. I like him. But I just think Eckes has shown that championship potential a lot more. And I think he's going to be the guy that they really focus on getting it. Speaking of career years, I'm gonna go with Tanner Gray has his best year as well. I think that, I just kind of talked about it with the playoff predictions, but I really think that he just steps forward in such a way that nobody's talking about it, but I think it's just going to happen, and we're going to sit here and be like, why did nobody see this coming? I think Tanner Gray is one of the most underrated drivers in the Truck Series, and I would like to see him move up. But while he's in the trucks, I think that now that he's got a couple years under his belt, a little bit more experience behind the wheel of a car, I think it's going to fall into place this year, if I'm being perfectly honest. My not so bold pick is just that Corey Heim and Ty Majeski kind of dominate this season. I don't think it's going to be, uh, you know, 5-6 guys can go out and win it. I think it's going to be 2. I think it's going to be Corey Heim and Ty Majeski. The rest of these teams are going to be chasing those 2 if things go the way they are in my mind. It's just the way I see it going. I don't know how to better explain it, but I think they're going to collect most of the wins. I think they're going to be the only 2 really in the regular season championship race, and we'll see how it comes down at the end of the year. Like I said, I got Majeski winning the regular season and Heim winning the championship, so who knows. Lastly is a part-time driver, and that's Marco Andretti. I think he's going to get a top 5 in one of his starts this year. I don't know when. I don't know where. He doesn't have too many starts. I think he's got like 6 or 7 this year scheduled so far in the 04. But I think he's going to get a top 5 in one of them. Just don't know where quite yet. But that'll do it for the trucks. Let's go ahead and move on to the Xfinity Series. All right, into the NASCAR Xfinity Series we go. And let's start with the driver moves. Jesse Love is going to be in the number 2 for RCR. He's replacing Sheldon Creed. I love this move for this team. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to work out really well for them. And we'll be talking about that a little bit more later. Dawson Cram will be in the 4. Anthony Alfredo will be in the 5 for Our Motorsports. Sammy Smith moves over to JRM in the 8. Haley Deegan moves up to the Xfinity Series. She'll be driving the 15 for AM Racing. Chandler Smith in the 81. Sheldon Creed in the 18. And Eric Almirola and John Hunter Nemechek will share the 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Those are the 3 changes in the stable at Joe Gibbs Racing. Josh Williams moves over to Colleague Racing. He'll be in the 11 this year, along with AJ Allmendinger, who drops back down to the Xfinity Series. He'll race full-time in the 16. Blaine Perkins in the 29 for RSS, for the Sieg team. Leland Honeyman will drive the 42 for Young's Motorsports. Brennan Poole moves over to Alpha Prime Racing in the 44, and I'm excited for this move for Brennan. I think he's going to have a really good year in the Xfinity Series with that team. Josh Bilicki moves over to DGM in the 92. Really excited for that move. Bilicki's a talented driver. He just needs the car to do it. I think this is the car that can potentially show that talent. Shane Van Gisbergen moves over to Colleague Racing in the 97. Yes, it's Colleague Racing, but it's going to look like a Trackhouse car. It's kind of a group effort. Super excited to see what he brings to the table for his full-time effort in 2024. So with that, I'll go to my predictions first this time for the Xfinity Series. My 5 predictions, starting with number 1, is that Shane Van Gisbergen does struggle during the regular season, but I think he starts to find a stride in the playoffs. I think that team will eventually start to come together the way it's expected and the way people are kind of expecting. The expectations for SVG have risen so high after the win in his debut, running so well in his other start. And I think that expectation is blown out of proportion because the Cup car and the Xfinity car are so different. I think it's going to take a while. I think it could take half the season. I think he may not even hit that stride in the first season. I think he's going to. I think he's going to get figured out. I think he's that talented of a race car driver. SVG figures it out about time that second race at each track starts coming around, and that's when you see exactly what he's got to bring to the table. My second prediction is that Jesse Love is going to win multiple races in 2024. I think that Jesse Love is extremely talented. I think he's one of the best race car drivers, one of the best up-and-coming race car drivers out there. No questions in my mind whether or not he gets a win in 2024. I think he's going to win multiple, like I said. I think that Brennan Poole, Jeremy Clements, and Ryan Sieg will be in competition for what I would consider the best of the rest. And the reason I say that, and the reason that I don't include Parker Kligerman in that, because I'm talking about the guys who drive for teams that just aren't really heavily funded. Kind of just those blue-collar teams that are just out there making laps, but are competitive weekly. Parker Kligerman, that Big Machine Racing team, has the affiliation with RCR to an extent. And I think that affiliation is going to it boosts their performance a little bit. Whereas Brennan Poole, Jeremy Clements, Ryan Sieg, they're kind of all, those 3 teams are all kind of on their own, working on their own, building things over the course of time. And they've all really improved. I think those 3 guys are kind of going to be the best of the rest of the field. And I think all 3 of them are going to be just outside the playoffs looking in, maybe in the top 15. My 4th prediction for the Xfinity Series is that Parker Kligerman wins a race in 2024. He was extremely close a handful of times last year. I just think it's all going to come together. Kligerman's going to get Big Machine Racing another win. I think it'd be their second win in Xfinity Series racing. My final prediction, this is probably my boldest prediction of them all. Hailie Deegan will match or exceed every Truck Series top 5 over her truck career. She only had 5 in just her first year of Xfinity Series racing. I think that this car fits her style. We saw it a little bit in that first race she ran back in 2022 when she drove that one race at Las Vegas, finished 13th, had a really good run. I think we're going to see that over the course of this year. I think we're going to see that confidence build back up. I think it got knocked down tremendously in the Truck Series, and it was just a matter of trying to find a way out. And going to go to Xfinity, build that confidence up, and I think she's going to hit that top 10 mark. I think she's going to exceed that top 10 mark. So I'm going to say that she gets probably closer to 10 than I think we realize. So that's who I'm looking out for in terms of huge jumps from Truck Series up to the Xfinity Series. As for playoff drivers, here they are. Let's just lay them out. Jesse Love, Austin Hill, Brandon Jones, Sammy Smith, Justin Allgaier, Sam Mayer, Chandler Smith, Sheldon Creed, Cole Custer, Riley Herbst, AJ Allmendinger, and Parker Kligerman are going to be my 12 drivers for the Xfinity Series playoff field. My regular season champ is going to be Cole Custer. I think he gets it done once again. My championship 4 are going to be Sammy Smith, Cole Custer, Riley Herbst, and Brandon Jones. I think is going to have a huge bounce back year. Last year was probably, I would put it on a level of the worst luck I've seen in NASCAR in my lifetime. I don't think I've ever seen anybody have a worse year in terms of luck ever. I can't remember one. Brandon Jones was caught up in multiple wrecks that he really shouldn't have been a part of. He was either wrecked or involved in the multiple JRM wrecks between the teammates last year. It just felt like he couldn't get out of the way of the incidents and the mistakes that were going on around him. I think that's going to turn around this year. I think he's going to have a really good year and get himself back in the playoffs and even so far as a championship 4. But I'm going to give it to the other JRM driver I put in. That's Sammy Smith. I think that he's going to have, I don't want to say the best year because last year was really good from him too. I just think that the change of scenery, working with Dale Jr. and Junior Motorsports, it's going to be exactly what you're looking for, the recipe for success. And the 8 car is going to take the championship home. So give me Sammy Smith in the Xfinity Series. And let's go ahead and hit it on to the NASCAR Cup Series preview. All right, so the Cup Series preview is going to be pretty straightforward, similar to what we've done the previous 2. Start with the driver moves, and that's Josh Berry. Initially, he's going to move up to the 4 car, replacing Kevin Harvick. Big shoes to fill. Let's see how that works out for him. I'm excited to see what he's able to do this year. Noah Gragson is going to move into the 10 car. Noah had a lot of controversy last year, a lot of things surrounding him that I just don't think he wanted. Getting to move over to a new car, being a part of a new team at Stewart-Haas Racing, I think he's going to fit in pretty nicely. I think he's going to have a good year in the 10. Daniel Hemrick is going to be in the 31. I like the move for Colleague Racing. I like the move for Daniel Hemrick. I just don't think Colleague has the speed this year. I think that that's the one thing I'm really worried about. They seem to have, at least the 31 car seems to have constantly kind of went downhill. And I just don't see the positive momentum going forward. I think that's why Justin Haley left. That and the pitch that he got from Rick Ware. But I think we're going to see that a little bit this year. John Hunter Nemechek takes over the 42, which was Noah Gragson's ride last year. Of course, GMS, Petty, sorry, not even those 2 names anymore. Legacy Motor Club is shifting over to Toyota. And it's gonna be a whole new year. John Hunter Nemechek was the guy, and we'll see what he can do in the 42 this year. Justin Haley in the 51 for Rick Ware Racing. We heard about it. It was kind of the blockbuster move, if you will, but it was just the surprise of the year last year when he went from Colleague Racing over to Rick Ware Racing. Why would you want to take a step down, is what everybody asked. It seems as though there are plans for this Rick Ware team to get better. And if that begins to happen, if that team starts taking off, maybe Justin Haley was just ahead of the curve. And we all had no idea what was coming. We'll see what it brings for him. Zane Smith and Carson Hocevar joined Spire under the guise of Trackhouse. Well, Hocevar is on Spire. He is just a Spire Motorsports driver. Zane Smith is signed to Trackhouse, but is being loaned out to Spire to drive the 71 this year. I'm really excited for both of these guys. I think they're both going to have really good years. I don't think either one of them win, but I think they're going to have some surprise finishes and be 2 guys that really compete and are part of my first prediction for the 2024 season, which is that Spire as a whole takes a significant step forward this year in terms of their on-track performance, their off-track development. I think everything improves for Spire in 2024. And I think they get 1 driver inside the top 20, which would be a huge improvement because Corey LaJoie was 25th last year. So a big time jump in 2024. Prediction number 2 is that Chase Elliott will take a huge step forward after missing a portion of last year, missing the playoffs last year. And I shouldn't say a step forward, but I think he's going to just get back on track. A huge rebound year from 2023, which was just so hectic, so bad in so many ways. I think Chase Elliott gets back into the playoffs, we'll see where else he goes from there. Number 3, kind of the obvious pick. Josh Berry's going to win Rookie of the Year. I don't mean to spend too much time on that, but I think that he is in the best position to do it. Now, if Josh Berry doesn't win Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with Carson Hocevar. I think he's going to be the guy that does it just because of his experience in these cars. Zane Smith has some experience too. Carson Hocevar was just better throughout his time, in my opinion, and in a worse car. Super excited for all these guys, but I'm going to take Josh Berry to win Rookie of the Year. I think Harrison Burton will improve into the top 25 in points. He was 31st last year. He was second to last. The only driver that was worse was Ty Dillon. I think that Harrison Burton takes this step forward. I think he needed a couple years to really get used to this car. And we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a better year. Not a huge year, not a good year, just a better year than what we've seen so far from Harrison Burton. And then lastly, I think Stewart-Haas Racing misses the playoffs completely in their first year without Kevin Harvick. It does hurt to say that. I like this team. I like Tony Stewart. I like their drivers. I think their drivers are all really talented. I just don't think the speed's there. I think they're struggling. They've been struggling. Now maybe this new car helps and gets them in a better spot. But right now, I'm just not a huge buyer in Stewart-Haas Racing stock. Just somebody's got to be the odd man out of the teams this year, and I think that this is going to be the one. So with that said, who are my playoff drivers? We'll go ahead and start with, well, my regular season champion. You'll know he's in the playoffs. That's going to be William Byron. I think he's going to bounce back off of the mistakes last year that cost him a chance at the regular season championship. And I think he's coming off of a career year. Build the momentum. The confidence is already there. What better time to go get a regular season championship than right now? So he'll be in the playoffs. I'm going to join him with the rest of his HMS teammates. Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson. I think all 4 HMS cars get in. I think 2 out of 3 Penske cars get in. Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano. Blaney's going to go and defend his championship. Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher, the RFK guys, are going to be there. All 4, well, sorry. Actually, no, I am correct. All 4 Joe Gibbs Racing drivers are going to be in there too. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr., and Ty Gibbs. I think all 4 make it. So then my final 4 to get in are going to be Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, and Ross Chastain. Now, these are in no particular order. The standings are probably going to look a lot different than the order I just gave you. But those are my 16 to get in. I will keep track of these, by the way. I'm going to go through this when we get to the playoffs. And I'm going to tell you what I got right, but I'm also going to tell you what I got wrong. Mark these down. Call me out if you think I'm going to be wrong anyways. Like I said, I welcome comments down below. I'll talk with you guys down there, and we can hash out our disagreements or maybe come to some kind of an agreement. Who knows? But those are my playoff drivers. My championship 4 is going to be William Byron, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin. It's, again, just feels kind of like it's going to be another year where I think Byron's going to get back. I think Chase Elliott bounces back, and I said in a huge way, and I do agree that he bounces back in a huge way. Ryan Blaney could have a career year bouncing off of the championship. Maybe go out and win the most races he's ever won in a season. Who knows? But I think he's going to have a good year. And then Denny Hamlin has just been extremely consistent throughout the entire time in these cars, and I don't think that's going to change at any time soon. Denny's got a really long future still ahead of him in the Cup Series, and he's going to put a lot of people on notice this year that he can make it over that hump and get to the championship 4. But at the end of the day, that I think he's going to come just short. I think everybody's going to fall short to William Byron. I think he's going to be the guy this year, and he's my pick to win the 2024 Cup Series championship. So with all of that said, 25 minutes into this, Here are my championship picks one more time for the top 3 series. William Byron in the Cup Series, Sammy Smith in the Xfinity Series, and Corey Heim in the Truck Series. As I always say, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to continue to, this is a community. I haven't always said this one on here, but it is a community, and that's what I'm trying to build. I want you guys to feel more than free to comment down below what you guys think of these predictions, what your own predictions are. Let's have some conversations down there. Get the comment section going, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to check out some of the other videos. I talked about NASCAR going international yesterday, or F1 filing for a trademark for a Chicago Grand Prix. I also gave a 2024 sprint car season preview, and I also talked about the Rolex a little bit. So this is still a fairly new channel, but there's a lot of stuff on here already, and it's only going to continue to grow. So I welcome you guys to come in and grow with me as we get towards the racing season officially starting. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys around more often. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good evening.